I started high school very unprepared and not knowing what to expect, really. No one really told me just what was going to happen. I was kind of awkward and I was an extreme introvert. I didn't really talk to people and I spent time alone. I always wore my hair in a ponytail. I always wore my glasses and I was just so quiet and just not ready for what was going to come. Wish I had known what to expect during this time. This was me. Freshman year. Now, I didn't have as much as other people. I didn't exactly have a phone. It was just a track phone. I didn't really dress the way that I exactly wanted. I was very conserved and kind of the way that my mom preferred. And I did have friends. They were different and definitely extroverts, unlike me. And it was only a few people at the time. And I didn't feel extremely close to them. They were good friends, but for something was different between us. And this was my schedule. It was extremely overloaded and several more classes were giving me trouble. There was honors pre-cal, honors biology, honors English, honors Spanish 4, AP US History, gym, and drawing and design, which was my art class. Several of the classes I really struggled in, and I didn't exactly know what I was doing. It was pre-cal, history, English, and Spanish. I really didn't know what was going on during these, and it just completely overwhelmed me. And for a couple of the classes, I didn't even know there was summer work that was due. History and Spanish, I had never done that before. And everything became a complete mess in my head. It was not good at all, and I never bothered to try and get help for it. Then, my freshman year, I decided to try out for volleyball. This was a big step for me because I didn't really do things like this, and it had opened me up to new friends and new experiences, and I loved playing volleyball. Even though I was just on the JV team and I could only pass barely, but it opened me up and it took a lot of my time, but it made me happy. And because of this, I was not doing well in my classes. This is basically what my grades looked like. And because my grades were so bad, it meant that I couldn't play in games for volleyball. Out of the question. And this made so many things pop into my head. There was a lot of stress, for sure, with all this. I felt extremely lonely, and it was just too much for me, way too much. I thought, no, I can't do this. And I thought that I had no one. This caused me to make one of the worst decisions in my life. I didn't talk to anyone, and it was right after a game when I found out just how bad my grades were at the time, and I didn't plan that game at all. It just completely brought me down, and I wish I hadn't let it all get to me. I wish that I had done something different. But no, instead I made a plan at 1 a.m. to try and really try to kill myself, kind of. And I cut my wrists and my neck. I got lucky that they were shallow cuts and they healed very quickly. But on all the emotions I felt at the time, I can't describe them. This is the only way to describe them, by splattering the paint onto the paper. Motion after motion. It was too much, and I should have gotten help. And the worst part is, this was all within the first month of school. But there were people there for me when I was crying and upset and extremely stressed. My mom, of course, and my dad. Of course they were there for me. They loved me so much, and I should have gone to them in the first place. When I was in the hospital, my aunt also came and talked to me. She's also my godmother, and I felt so close to her. And I knew that they loved me. I also went to see a therapist at this time, and she was extremely nice, and she did a good job of trying to help me. I just wish that I had really done a better job of being a patient, because there was one problem with this. I really didn't open up to her like I should have. I didn't really tell her how I was really feeling. I kind of just agreed with everything she said and told her all the basic stuff that was bothering me at the time, and just completely shut down to her, kind of, because I kind of just wanted to finish it. I really just didn't want to be there, which was the problem. I didn't want the help. And this just caused me to fake it. I faked being happy. I faked enjoying myself, and I got to the point where I didn't need her anymore, which really wasn't true. I thought I was better than therapy, to be honest, and when I faked this, it really didn't make me any better. It kind of made me worse, and it just caused me to become an actor on the stage. The world was my stage. And when you become that good at faking it, you kind of just don't realize your sadness anymore. You don't realize your true self or how you really feel, and that really was a problem. And that I've been doing that for well over a year now, and so you're probably thinking, what happened when I faked it? I had a loss of motivation. All of my work just became meaningless. The depression returned. I just became sad again, and the thoughts that I had before returned. It was affecting me mentally very badly, and this caused me to have bad grades again. I struggled a lot. And you're probably wondering what's different now. Well, right now, I actually want the help. I really want to get better, for sure. And hopefully my experience turns into advice for freshmen. So, number one, Know your limits. This especially applies to your schedule, and you also need to know your strengths/weaknesses. Because when you know what subjects you're better at and which ones you're not so good at, it makes it easier to balance your schedule. So that classes that you're stronger at, you can challenge yourself with, and ones that you're not as good at, you can take an easier level of. When you do this, you have no overloaded schedule, which is great, for sure. Number 2, you are not alone at all, for sure. There's more people than you realize who are willing to help you through this. You have your friends who are always there for you, even if you may not think it at the time. They want to help you. And for sure, your parents. Your parents have always been there for you. They want you to be happy and successful. But also there's your counselor, who is extremely open, sometimes more than other people. And 2A, this also includes schoolwork. Even though you may not think it and you think that you gotta do it all by yourself, this is not true at all. When you're confused and don't understand what's going on in class, there's 2 big options that you have. You can go to your teacher, who can explain it in a better way to you, whether it's in the morning, during lunch, or after school or after class. They want to help you and they want you to do well in their class. And then there's also your classmates, who might be able to explain it in a better way than your teacher, make it easier to understand. Number 3, make time for yourself. This is the one thing that most people don't think about and they don't do. It is so vital, so important for you to be doing this. Because when you are extremely busy and you've got so much going on in your life, with school and your after-school activities, you have to be able to balance it out and find time to just let your brain take a break, basically. Because otherwise you're just on a pathway to disaster, I guess you could say. And ways that you can do this are with sports, with doing anything artistic like listening to music, singing, dancing, drawing, any of that stuff. You can exercise, you can meditate, but basically anything that makes you happy, anything that you enjoy, because that's what's important, your mental health. I really wish that I had known all this when I was a freshman, because then maybe it would have been easier and I would have made better decisions. But am I completely better? No. Recently, a couple weeks ago, I fell into depression again, but this time I really wanted to do better and I wanted help. But I didn't think this a couple years ago, and I didn't think it was okay. But now I realize that it is alright, that I need help, and that there are so many people to help me. I'll start with you taking that first step. Getting help when you need it, knowing that you need the help. I figured it out, and it took me too long to figure it out. I hope that with this, you're able to figure it out sooner and get help when you need it, because you're never alone. You need to see that.